any business that would want to strive should definitely understand how well to go into automation, putting your markets up there in the internet, operating your market through all devices available to properly operate your businesses. All of this will be discussing, and Mr. Sheung would do well to let us tap into his wealth of knowledge and take us through this our discussion this morning. I would be introducing Mr. Sheung to us properly so that we understand how much wealth of knowledge we'll be grasping from Mr. Sheung. Mr. Sheung is the CEO/head of design for Torilo, Nigeria. And Torilo is a technology company incorporated in the United Kingdom with their presence here in Nigeria. The Torilo Group offers solutions that aims to connect people and businesses to their goals by creating solutions that empowers them. The team has robust experience in solving complex problems with digital solutions through automation. They have delivered several digital solutions across sectors such as IQ for schools, a school management software, Torilo Academy, a technology training center, for aspiring tech talent. And mostly recently, they launched their app called BizEdge. And this BizEdge is an ERP solution that empowers businesses to automate their HR, accounting, payroll, and asset management operations. Mr. Sheung holds a BSc from the University of Lagos, and he has an MBA distinction from Nextford University. He has garnered experience working with different startups and multinationals, such as Homo Results, Phoenix International, and Doctora. He's a partner at a co-laundry and a co-founder of the Rev, a community where he helps aspiring designers navigate the sector successfully. And when I say sector here, I'm talking about the tech sector successfully through direct mentoring and co-creation. Kindly please give Mr. Sheung a very warm welcome in the chat box. Thank you very much, Mr. Sheung. Thanks for being on this session. We hope to really pick a whole lot of information from you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Thank you for the opportunity. Thanks for the superb introduction. Welcome everyone to the session. I'm sure I've been well introduced. Thanks again to everybody for being in attendance. Please, I would encourage us. I'm loving the interaction in the chat box, so I will encourage us as much as possible as we proceed with the presentation, that we ask our questions. We're also going to be having a few polls. It's going to be an interactive session. Thank you, Rosemary. Thank you, Adeniro. Thank you, Chinelo. Right, so it's going to be an interactive session. We're also going to have a few polls, and I would just like to get our opinions on a few things, right? Right, so I'll just go right into it. Please let me know if you can see my screen. Maybe it's confirm you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Beautiful. All right. A topic for discussion, I said earlier, is automating business processes for better efficiency. And so we'll be touching on a few things. I'll show you the slide, but just before we go right into it, I'll just give you a bit of insight into. So I've been introduced already, but just a few interesting facts about me is that I'm keen on technology, but I'm also not a big advocate for thinking technology can solve everything, at least not immediately. I believe that you should understand your problem well enough before introducing technology as a solution, right? So many problems have been further complicated just by jumping directly to technology, right? First thing that should come to our mind when we are trying to solve a problem shouldn't be a mobile app or a web app. It should be, what is the core? What is the real problem that we're facing here, and how can we better understand this problem before then introducing technology as a solution to it? So that's that about me. But I don't think it would be right for me to introduce myself without showing you a few of my awesome team members. They are the people that have made Torilo what it is today. This is just a brief of some of our guys in here. Wonderful guys. So go straight ahead to this in some minutes. So this is the outline of what we'll be discussing today. We'll be looking at the what, why, and how. The what really would deal with a few definitions here and there. We look at definition of automation. We look at repetitive task. We look at impact of repetitive task on our business. And then we'll look at why we need automation, right? It's not just enough for us to talk about automation, but we need to consider why we need automation in the first place. And once we've understood what automation is and why we need automation, the next phase would really be to understand how to automate, right? This will help us gain better understanding of the kind of tools we should look out for, how to integrate these tools into our system, our processes, and the best approach generally. So just to understand fully that not all tools are ideal for you as a business. You need to assess where you are as a business and understand how these tools fit into your processes. And lastly, we'll be looking at the case study of BizEdge. I need to let you know that if you stay to the end of the meeting, I have a few things to give out, or my team has a few things to give out to you, right? So please note as well that the slide will be available for download at the end of this presentation. I'll be sharing a link to you. So you need not worry about because I might just jump through a few slides and not take too much time, right? Okay, so I enjoy case studies a lot, and because I feel like this would help us relate with whatever it is that we're presenting or we're talking about. So the person we'll be using as our case study today is Benny. Benny is an entrepreneur. She runs a laundry business. The name of the business is Benny Sparkle. And Benny has basically identified a gap in our operations. The gap is that workers take turns to actually record and track stock. So if you're familiar with how laundry processes work, when you go wash, when you deliver or you make a pickup, it has to be sorted and you have to be charged the right amount, right? And the invoice is generated for you. And so this takes an average of 15 minutes per order for Benny to actually do. Currently Benny is running about 25 orders per day, right? But she has the potential to scale, but the only thing that would be affecting Benny or would prevent Benny from scaling is really the fact that if she scales, the more she scales, the more the time to complete this tracking and sorting takes, right? So I'll just like to get a few, I'm going to run a few polls now, and Benny wants to scale, right? So what should Benny do? Do we think Benny should hire more hands or hire an extra person to actually get this job done? So if you are saying yes to that, that means you're also agreeing that this extra person would solve the entire problem that Benny is facing with operations and enable Benny to be able to scale. So a poll is on our screen right now. I'd like us to just say yes or no. Okay, that's interesting. All right. All right. Okay. All right. Interesting. Thank you very much. Okay. So the polls are still coming in now. I'll let that come in. But so far, it's looking like, okay, let me just leave it there. Let me not influence our decision. Okay. So going on, I'll come back to this poll. So going on, so really, what is automation? Briefly, it is basically the term of it's a term used for technology applications where human input is minimized. So just consider the case of Benny. If Benny has to automate a process, that means she's minimizing human input, right? And part of automation, or the different angles of arms of automation are business process automation, IT automation, personal applications, and our home automation, such as the Alexa and the Google Home that we all have, or some of us might have. But our focus for this presentation today will be the business process automation, because that's why we're all here, to learn how we can use how we can automate our businesses. Right. Sorry, minutes. So business process automation is the use of technology to automate repeatable day-to-day tasks, right? It accelerates how work gets done by routing information to the right person at the right time through user-defined rules and action. In other words, what we're saying is you only have to set the process once, and once you've defined this process, it can be repeated automatically by whatever system you put in place to actually get this done. It's important to note that in total, okay, so I just oh, can we hear me? Can you please confirm you can hear me? I said I was muted for a while. Okay.
Okay, we can hear you, please.
Okay. I guess it was an issue with my device. I hope you didn't miss too much. What did you?
I think we missed quite a lot. Maybe you could recap.
Wow. Okay, so I was at automation. Did we get it to that point?
Yes, we did.
All right. So
we were deciding should Benny hire extra hands to.
Yeah. So the polls have come in, and I'm saying 46% yes and 54% no. And so we're just going to talk about that down the line. I believe we'll have better understanding, or our opinions might change as we move down the line. Please confirm you can hear. I do not want to repeat.
We can hear you, Sean.
All right. So yeah. So from that point, I was going to touch on the business process automation. And I said that this is basically the use of technology to automate repeatable day-to-day tasks, right? And I highlighted on the fact that it accelerates how work gets done by routing this information to the right person at the right time through user-defined rules and actions. But in summary, what we're trying to say here is you only have to set the process once, and the process is repeated automatically as defined. So for example, if Benny was to automate a process or a business or other taking process, all she has to do is define some rules. Once she defines those rules, they can be put into a system that then routes the information to the right place. And it gets repeated, and she doesn't have to do this over and over again. Right. Statistics shows that about repeated tasks are costing us about 19 working days per year per employee, according to Clockify. So if we apply this to Benny's case, if Benny was sorting 25 orders per day, and she loses up to 19 days to this repeated task, it means that in total, Benny would have lost 475 orders per year. That's a whole lot, even if it was at 10 naira per order, right? So what are repetitive tasks? Because we cannot talk about automation without actually understanding what repetitive tasks are, without getting an insight into what they look like. And these are some examples of repetitive tasks. An example is data entry. So let's take, for example, let's use Benny again as an example. Benny always has to enter data for what kind of clothes was brought in to be washed, whether it was for complete wash or complete laundry or just wash and dry, whether it needs to be ironed or not. For every time a customer comes in, Benny has to repeat this process for every customer. Another thing is the copying and pasting. So I'll use the case study of our normal workplace where we have different units. So imagine you're trying to pass the payroll for the month to the accounting team to get sorted and pay. You have to literally move this data, sort it, enter this data, and then copy and paste it or pass it across to them. And then before you know, you have duplicated data across the team. Another repetitive task is actually recruitment and hiring. This is not to say we shouldn't recruit or hire. What I mean to say here is, so imagine when we have to post, and we literally have to post on every platform. So if our job post, if we intend for it to go on 20 platforms, we have to post on 20 platforms every time. Whereas we could leverage a tool or an app that can allow us, share these posts across multiple platforms. Another repetitive task is data backup. So if you are a team that is largely data driven, this means that you would have to back up your data. So for example, if your standard requirements is that you want it to be weekly, for every week, your team has to go to their system, collect the hard drive, or upload it on the flash drive somewhere. And so consider the time that is being lost to this. Posting on social media is another good example. Scheduling appointments is a huge example, especially as an executive. The back and forth that is involved in having to, agree on a time is very, very demanding. Invoicing and billing is a good example as well. Payroll, like I said earlier, and reporting as well, because this also has to do data entry and duplication of data. Right. Another study shows that the time wasted on repetitive tasks could be automated is over 40%. So what this means is that 4 out of our 10 tasks in businesses are actually repetitive, right? Now let's look at how repetitive tasks affect us. One example in the case of Benny, let's not forget Benny, our friend, is reduced efficiency. Another example is really employee morale. A study shows that employees believe that it's a poor use of their skills for every time that they have to repeat a task or do a task that could have just been easily automated. Employees today want to get engaged with more demanding, more challenging tasks. Another impact is what I call financial leakages. Really, if you look at the case of Benny, we said Benny would lose about 475 orders in a year if she cannot solve that problem. That's a potential loss for her somewhere there. That's some money she could have made. But just on the wider spectrum, a research actually shows that about 1.8 trillion is lost in the US economy to repeated tasks on a yearly basis. That's $1.8 trillion, right? Another impact really is the fact that, when we keep repeating tasks, we're actually prone to error, especially when it's a manual task process, manually done rather. Right. So we just touched on Benny. I sort of highlighted on Benny. It's important to let us know that at this point, Benny is losing about 50,000 naira weekly. Let's just assume she's losing about 50,000 naira weekly for every order she can process. But let's take a quick pause here and, let's reflect and ask ourselves. So because with the way the direction is going, it could be saying that I could be suggesting, or you could be taking it that I am saying repetitive tasks are bad, or we do not have to have them, or our goal is to eliminate them, right? But the goal is not to eliminate repetitive tasks. We can't stop repeating tasks in an organization. That's the truth. Most operations run around repeating tasks. We have to clock in and clock out every day. We have to run payroll. We can't eliminate running payroll. We have to go through literally the same process. We have to go to as things as small as reporting. We can't stop reporting. So really the point here is, the purpose of my explanation so far has not been to say that our goal should be to eliminate repeated tasks, but rather to look for better ways to manage them. Right. So a start by Impact. Impact is a business technology company. It shows that 50% of businesses or business processes will be fully automated by 2022. Now, this is 2022. We're not done yet. We just started, or we can say we just started Q2. But the question to us is, are we aligned? Are we part of this 50% of businesses? If a wholesome 50% of business would be automating their process, this is suggesting that there's a trend and there's a pattern, and people are actually seeing that, there needs to be automation in their processes, right? So at this point, I'm just going to ask us again about Benny, our friend. But now we don't have to run a poll. We don't have to think. I just want us to reflect and on our answer of why if Benny should automate or not. And we just hold on to our case study of Benny. I'm just reminding us of Benny as we move on. And as I explained for those that answered yes, and as well for those that answered no, so we know if our friend Benny should actually automate or hire someone rather to get that process done. So why should we automate? Of course, one major benefit is that it improves our efficiency and productivity as well. Another reason is it fosters innovation, right? If you can free up enough time, basically what this means for you is you have more time, or your employees have more time to think of new ideas, to come up with new solutions. We're in a rapidly changing market today. It's a very volatile one where you can launch a solution tomorrow and the next thing you have a competition right behind you, following you. At times it's just pure coincidence that people are thinking of the same problem and the same solution at the same time. But the truth is they will not solve it the same way. But regardless, this is also is a competition for you. But so the ability to be able to free up your time by automating really would give you enough time to look into other arms of your business and look at how you can actually innovate. It helps you save more time, like I already said, in fostering innovation. It also helps you save more money. It helps you gain business insights for how to improve your processes, right? If you can automate your process, you can see patterns, you can study trends, and you can project quickly. But if they're all manual, there is no way you can actually have these things logged and say, oh, in year 2020 or in months or in Q1, 50% of my people or 50% of others were ironing, or I was increasing. So I'm using Benny as a case study now, or the request for a complete laundry increased by 10% every month. Therefore, I expect another 10% increase. Do the number of irons I have or the number of workers I have, are they enough to actually be able to cater for this next 10% increase? So, because the biggest thing in business really is to be able to see ahead, right? Why you're solving the present problem is to be able to project and say, okay, I see a pattern here. Can I cater for it? Right, I'll give you an example of us internally. One of our products is Torilo Academy. As at last year, we saw a pattern, we saw a trend through our students, registrations and onboarding, and we saw an increase, and we were able to easily project and say, by X month in X year, we actually expect our students to be X number. Therefore, we need X space. And we were not totally wrong, actually. We did increase in numbers and we were able to cater for this. But if we were not, it would be so unfortunate that we'd have to start saying, oh, we're sorry, we don't have space because we've maxed out numbers. And our numbers keep increasing we're studying the trends. Another thing is it helps you edge against uncertainty. COVID happened to all of us. We all eat one way or the other. If our business was fully automated, the transition to, digital or remote work would have been easier and much more impactful for our business. Also, automating business process helps with ease of knowledge transfer, right? Let's imagine Benny has someone called Kunle, and Kunle is the only person that knows how to run the order sorting process. And Kunle just fell ill the next day because Kunle is human. Who else can take over from Kunle and do it as good as Kunle would, or even better, right? So these are some of the things that should run through our mind. Also, it helps you just offer better customer experience. The faster you're able to, attend to your customers, the better for you, and the more money you're able to make as well, right? We're going to look at how to automate business processes. And these are the steps. I'm going to talk about each one of these steps because it's important for us to, know why we need. So, because I was saying earlier, because we know what automation is now, we know why we need automation, or at least I believe we now understand why we need automation. And we're now looking into how to automate. But, you could just drop, while I'm continuing my speech, or my presentation, you could just drop in the chat box other reasons why you think we need automation as well. I would like it to be as engaging. So just from our use case of, oh, beautiful. I just saw someone said it creates opportunity to scale. Actually, I didn't pay attention to that. Thank you very much, Razak. That's actually a very, very good one. You basically, in Benny's case, we use the case study of Benny, that Benny wants to scale to about 50 orders or 40 orders, but Benny cannot, because if he does, he's basically duplicating that problem and complicating it more. So thank you very much, Razak. Guys, please, we can drop as much efficiency. Thank you very much, Ahmed. So I'll just go on. I'll be dropping in the chat section as we go on. Right. So how to automate business processes, right? Because so at the beginning of my presentation, I said something about me not being a huge advocate of technology being the first thing that we run to whenever we have a problem, right? So this is really going to help you understand why I said that, right? Because if we're not careful, we can introduce a solution, a technology solution that will further complicate our business process. That's the truth, because it might just not be a budget fit. It might not be even a problem fit, right? And it might also just be too large or too small for our team to use at that time, right? So this how to really help us to understand how to implement this process and what to look out for when selecting a tool or choosing a particular app or solution, right? So the first thing to do really is to identify, right? You need to identify a process. You need to identify a problem, and you need to be clear about this problem, right? So what problem am I trying to solve, right? In the case of Benny, right? Benny knows that problem she's trying to solve really is time loss due to stocking or sorting of orders, right? Excuse me. And once she's clear on this, she then knows what to search for next. So, because if you're unclear and you're aware that there's a problem, you know that there's a problem, but you're not clear about where the problem is coming from, then you might not be able to search for the right tool, right? And once you are able to identify what this problem is and you know what this process is, right, you then can leverage on a systems approach. And where a system really is just a set of processes aimed to achieve a task, right? Most processes that can be automated are actually processes that build up to become a system, right? Like I said in the example of Benny, right? Billing customers involves sorting the clothes, entry of data, and then generate invoice to share with. So that's a system. Those are steps that make up a complete system. And it goes on and on in cycles like that, right? So one is to identify the problem and be clear on it, define it properly. And then two is to look at this entire system. What part of this system does not need to be automated? Or should I automate the entire system? These are questions you should be asking yourself. Once you are clear on the fact that you know what the problem is, and you are clear on the systems approach, the next thing you really should be thinking of is budget. Right. So, budget is not just, so this budget is a very tricky one here, right? You need to be able to weigh the benefit for you and the cost that comes, right? So let's use Benny again as a case study. Benny is losing about 475 orders, right? Let's say she has an app that can automate that process for her for, say, 10 naira per month, right? That's the total cost of 120 naira per month. If the cost to her is 120 naira per month, and if she can automate that process and make more than 120 naira per month, then definitely she should consider automating that process already. Like someone said that it just gives us the opportunity to scale and takes off the whole need to, stop or prevent scaling, right? So budget fit really is just beyond just, how much revenue are we making, but it's a question of how much revenue are we making and how much revenue can we make. So we shouldn't just be restricted to the fact that, oh no, we don't have enough funds in here, or we're restricted by how much you can spend. You should be open-minded to also see that as much as you do not want to make this spend or, create more expenditure, you might actually be harming yourself or the company or the business by preventing more inflow, right? The next thing I want is problem fit. I sort of touched on that earlier when I was talking about identifying the problem. Once you know your budget fit and you know what the problem is, this informs the kind of, solutions that you're searching for. But while searching for the solution, you need to be sure that they are fit for the problem that you're trying to solve, right? And to understand your problem better, there's a process in the Kaizen method called the 5 whys. The 5 whys really is just asking yourself a series of whys in 5 different places to help you really drill down to what the root cause is. Is a root cause analysis method. So the first question you're asking is, why are we not able to? So I'm using Benny as a case study again. Why can't we make up to 40 orders per day? So the why would then be, why we don't have enough time. So the answer to that rather will be, we don't have enough time to sort. Then the next question will be, why don't we have enough time to sort? We don't have enough time to sort because guys that are sorting are also the guys that are involved in the wash or dry cleaning process. And then it goes on and on and on. So we then drill down to the fact that the root cause, which is the root cause of why, the root cause would then be, you know what, this process is, we're doing it manually, right? So once you found budget fit, you found your problem fit, the next thing really you should be thinking about is integrating these solutions. I'll take a pause here to look at the chat section to see how it's going. Okay, so someone said here that, it stops stealing. Actually, yeah, it does stop fraud. It does prevent fraud. Automating your process actually prevents fraud. If you think about it, once a process is manual, it gives you it opens it. It's vulnerable to several things. It can be, the data can be compromised because now it's a manual process. Anybody can go into your spreadsheet or your Excel sheet or your Google Doc to change numbers or change figures. So very, very valid point, Obiageli. Okay, so I saw for greater and better business delivery, that's true. It gives you opportunities, like I said earlier, to actually deliver a better customer experience. Creativity is actually, closely related to innovation. It actually allows you to think of newer and fresher ideas. So thank you again, Obiageli. As Zach said, it makes control effective and efficient. That's true as well. You are able to closely monitor, what goes in and what comes out. And actually, that also helps you, improve on processes. And when I mean improve on processes, not just cut time or cuts, but actually deliver a better experience or, do things in a different way, right? And innovate, like we said earlier. So on integration, so we're coming from, let's not forget, we're coming from, first of all, identifying what the problem is, to looking at a systems approach, to implementing a trial, to problem fit. So it jumped actually, so I need to go back. There's a problem here, yeah? So problem fit, and once we've identified the problem, the next thing really we should be looking at is implementing a trial. Now, to implement a trial, I need to explain to us why we need to implement a trial, first of all. You don't advise, or I suggest that you shouldn't jump on an app and straight up pay for it if you've not confirmed that that app can actually solve the problem. Yes, you've done your proper study of whether or not it's a problem fit. Yes, you've done a proper study of whether or not it's a budget fit. But it's also important to actually, all these things that you've done, they can't be validated until you actually try out this app or use this app in the exact way you want it done, right? So what the purpose of a trial helps you to do is, it helps you really monitor, how efficient these processes or this tool rather is for your own particular operations, right? Because your operations might just be unique. It might help you inform, how to use it better. It might help you understand what you've probably not discovered in your processes before, right? So the purpose of a trial really is to test. Now, but while doing a trial, depending on the size of your team, what we like to do here is really we test with what we call focus groups, right? If it's a tool that can be used across the entire team, we test with just a particular section of the team, right? And the goal is really, if you implement it on a large scale, you would need a lot of effort to actually be able to closely monitor it and understand how impactful it is. But if you're able to implement it on a small scale, you can monitor it, learn from it, get feedback, and replicate that process on a larger scale. So that's basically so depending on the size of your team, really, so we are about 30 something, close to 40 team members. So we can't, here in Nigeria, we can't just, take a tool and just straight up implement it across the entire team. So what we usually do is to create focus groups of, say, the marketing or the sales or, the support team. And, we just try out these tools. Once we try it out, the next thing we're doing is we're measuring impact. And at this phase, really, we're just trying to see whether or not it's actually solving the problem. If it's something that is numeric, we want to understand what the output has been for us. Has it improved efficiency? Has it actually saved us costs? What adjustment do we need to make? Because some tools might actually require that you make little adjustments to how you're actually running your operations. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, because all tools cannot be created to actually solve our entire process the exact way we have them. They might request or require that we, change a few things in our process, and that might just be for good. And as well, some tools actually help us identify gaps that are existing in our operations. With insight, we can then see that, the number of times or the amount of time it takes for me to, resolve a customer complaint is actually longer, and I need to improve on it. And why it might be longer might not be because, you don't understand that problem. It might as well be because of how you are collecting the problem. So are you asking the right questions at the initial stages? Are the customers being clear? Or you have to first of all call? Okay, so Babatunde is asking a question. I'm sure one of the team members will be able to answer you. Okay. All right, so I'll just go ahead. Once you've measured the impact, the next process really will be to integrate, right? So you've come all the way from, identifying what your problem is, building a systems approach around the problem, finding a budget fit, finding a problem fit, implementing a trial to, test it out, especially with focus groups. If you're a large team, if you're a small team, you can try it out across the team. I would say a minimum of 5 to 10 people is fine. Once you start exceeding 10, you might not be able to closely monitor the impacts or the success of this app, or even the failure as well, and quickly decide. Once you deem it successful, really, the next thing you should be thinking of is, the next thing you should be thinking of is how to integrate it, right? So you're done with focus group, you've measured the impact success, you just integrate it across the entire thing. And but this doesn't mean you should leave it running. You should be open to review as well, right? So there's a method called the Kaizen Method. Is a method that was really found by the Toyota company, Toyota is one of the names of the founder of Toyota, excuse me. And the Kaizen method really is a method of continuous change. It encourages continuous change. So do not leave this app or leave this solution and dump it somewhere. As much as providing insights, be able to, review. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to change another app. It could mean, request for additional features or request for, updates from the app providers or the solution providers, right? The Kaizen method also focuses on eliminating waste. So, as much as you've integrated this process, understand that your team is a dynamic team, right? And understand that your team is going to evolve over time. is going to most probably increase in size as you scale. And the culture that probably worked for a group of 10 or a group of 20 or a group of 30 team members might not necessarily work for a group of 50 or a group of 100, right? Also, the Kaizen method actually encourages free communication. One thing that has made Toyota a very successful company today is every employee has the autonomy to report whatever process they think it is that might be affecting or taking more time. But while they're doing that, they're also encouraged to propose a solution. So it's something as simple as so I was reading a case study one time. It was something as simple as just screwing the steering to the car, right? And the person in charge had to always pick the screw, fix it to the screwdriver, and then screw it in. And what he said was, what we would love to have was if they could build him a machine that just automatically picks the screwdriver is already hanging somewhere, and it just screws it in. That saves him about something that looks negligible. It saves him about 0.5 seconds. But when you multiply 0.5 seconds by 1,000 cars or 100 cars or total number of cars that he has produced per year, that's a huge figure, right? So it's good to bear that in mind to encourage free communication from your team members. They would most likely be the ones to actually cite the problem first, because you're a 360-degree person. The more you encourage them to speak up, the higher the chances for you to actually see the gaps that exist in your business process, right? They are mostly 90-degree or whatever degree they are in their different units, and they can quickly raise issues to you whenever it's needed. Right. So we talked about a few things. I'm just going to go back to chat section. Okay, I'll answer your questions. I'll come back to your questions. So you remember clearly, actually what I'm about to say now might help answer your question, Babatunde, but if not, I would also, answer further. So basic tools to automate your business processes. Right, I did, if you remember earlier, I was touching on a few repetitive tasks, right? And I said one of them is, meeting, scheduling meeting. Another is, running your payroll, billing customers, just several other things, really. So this section is just to give you a few suggestions into, apps, basic apps that can actually help you automate your business processes, right? For the meeting one, Calendly is a good example. What Calendly does is you just indicate the times that you're free or the period that you're free for. And you can always share this link with this person, and there's no need for back and forth on, oh, I'm free 3 p.m. Oh, can we do 3:30? Just send them your calendar. They see when you're free, they pick a time, bam, you guys are agreed. Another huge pain point for business is really task management, right? For this, you can use Google Tasks. Google Tasks is more of a personal task management tool, and you can also use Asana. BZ is coming up soon with task management. I'll share a few of that with you later towards the end of this meeting as we're wrapping up. Another is creating and setting meeting reminders. As insignificant as this might seem, I literally have to have about close to 5 meetings or 10 meetings at times, busy days in a day. And there's a tendency that I can forget some meetings. So what I try to do with my meetings really is to, set reminders for them. And one huge way this has helped is using Google Calendar. With Google Calendar, I can set the meeting, create a reminder, and I get reminded for it. I can set how often I want to get reminded for it, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 5 minutes to the meeting. Now, I talked about backup as well, if you remember. So if you are working on if your team has, say, for example, graphic designers, motion graphic designers, backup is going to be a huge issue for you. Because you want to have a repo of your past images, your past content, and all. This shouldn't be done manually. A good way to do this is to use Google Drive or OneDrive or iCloud. But the ones that we know most is Google Drive or OneDrive, right? You can also automate this process by actually just pointing Google Drive to a particular folder, a particular section in their systems. And you can tell Google Drive how often you should back it up. every week, every 2 weeks, or whenever they save a file. And this gets automatically connected to the drive. So if they click save, it gets saved also in drive. And so we had a case one time where backup was, it was backup saved the day for us. We were to work on a project with a prospective client, and we had to develop a few things. We did it, produced it, and a day to the presentation, the system we used actually packed up. Right, just these things happen. It's almost like they know that you're about to go for a presentation, right? But one of the things that actually saved the day was we were able to dig in our drive and find this file, at least to the last history that we saved it to, and all we just needed to do was brush it up and pick it up again. So backup is really, really important to you, especially if you are in the technology business. You don't want to joke with backup at all. Actually, even for someone like Benny, she wants to be able to track how many orders or who paid last. If Benny was using a manual process and Benny had another come through that has not been paid for and she lost some data, it means that she has lost money because she won't be able to track, oh, this person ordered 50 or this person hasn't paid, right? So another thing that can help you automate your pricing or your billing process really is Google Spreadsheets. Google is a very powerful tool, guys. Google Spreadsheets can, with using the right formulas, you can automate anything. You can also use other accounting tools as well. To schedule your social media posts, you can use Hootsuite, you can use Buffer. And what these things do is once you put your caption, the content in there, you indicate the date that you want to post, just connect your social media accounts to it and it posts this for you. Now, lastly, but not the least, is processes like your human resource process, your payroll process, your asset and vehicle management process, your accounting process, and the most important of them all, reporting, because it helps you get insight. BizEdge can do all of this for you. So really, we've been in this business of automating processes for years now, starting from the UK. And one thing that we've seen, especially when we got to Nigeria, was we saw that, people were really they were losing potential funds by just not automating properly, right? And what we built BizEdge over time is we've been able to understand this process, and we've not just created the apps separately. So for some of these apps that I mentioned, like Calendly, like OneDrive, or Hootsuite, and all, they are all different apps that you have to have and install separately. But with BizEdge, we've created these apps to solve this problem in one place, and they interact with each other. So the data that you receive from your HR can be passed to payroll. I'm going to show us a few things in here. Sorry, please. Okay, this is not for me. I'm going to show us a few things that BizEdge can do for us as we move on. Lastly, I want to say that we need to keep learning because you created your business in the first place to solve problems for people. And people, as we know it, are very dynamic people. They evolve, they grow, they change, their likes change, their dislikes change, the problems they want to solve per time change as well. So you need to keep learning, you need to be flexible as well. So I'm just going to take a pause here, and I'm going to look at our Q&A section to see, okay, so what are the processes that run without having websites for? What are the processes? So please, we can drop our questions now. I'm done. I'm just going to share a few things with us. So what are the processes that run without having websites for education and training firm? Okay, Babatunde, I think I understand your question. So I want to assume that a typical process really for you would be knowing your knowing billing will be one problem for you, training firm. Okay, so billing will be a problem for you. And that problem really you'll be having is, being able to track the number of students. So one way to do that is really to just use an automated form that so just Google search on how to create an automated form that gets into your spreadsheets. This way you can change it per time. You can always know how many students are registering per cohort. I'm assuming you're a training firm. So I'm just trying to, I see education, I see training. So, but if you're a school, one thing that you'll be needing would be reporting, would be students, attendance, and all. We have a solution for that already called IQ for schools. IQ for schools, you can check the websites online. IQ for schools is one tool that we created to help schools with that problem. What would you recommend for stock tracking and management? Okay, so I am going to be touching on this in the next slide. Right, and what I'll be recommending for you really is BZ. Right, so let me just touch it. We can drop our questions, everyone. I see questions in the chat. Okay, right. So Chinelo is saying most of these automations are costly or pricey, I believe. Example, they use it for social media marketing. What's the advice for startups yet to have funds? Okay. Again, if you remember in my presentation, right, I did touch on the fact that you need to consider a budget fit. If some of these things don't fit your budget, then you need to find ways to further automate them. So a good way to automate your own social media posting really is to do scheduling using basic spreadsheets, right? You can schedule on your spreadsheets. The beautiful thing about anything that has to do repetitive tasks is as long as you can create a system around it, you won't have a problem posting or wasting time. So a good example is if you know that you have to post 3 times in a week, what are those things that you have to post 3 times in a week? Set a theme for them. Once you set a theme for them, you would be able to build. So once you can build the post for the next 1 month, giving space for other dynamic posts. But once you can build your 3 times a week for 4 weeks, that's 12 posts. So Chinelo, if you can build 12 posts, if you can have your team build 12 posts down already and have the content down, you would spend little time to need to keep going back to them to say, oh, I need you to post this. When are we posting? Have we posted? Because you can just go to the spreadsheet. For now, if a startup can obviously, for very good reasons, not afford each suite yet, you should look at tools, basic tools like that. What it also helps you, do is it helps you understand whether or not you actually need each suite in the first place, right? So I hope I answered your question, Chinelo. So what Chinelo has actually asked is one pattern that we've seen with solutions currently. We've noticed that most solutions are really tuned to solving problems for medium to high income earning enterprise, but not really medium to low income or startups, right? Not medium to low income or startups. So what we've done with BZ app really is we've made it as affordable as possible. So like I'm showing you in my screen, you have the people management, you have the asset and vehicle management. Someone is asking about asset tracking. We have the payroll, we have the My Edge. And My Edge is the employee management tool. We have the accounting, which is coming very soon. We have the tax management, which is coming very soon. And we have the time taken. So the time and attendance, which is also coming very, very soon. Right, so but what we've done with this is, I'm going to show you very soon, is if all of these apps speak to each other. So if you onboard someone on the people team, which is the HR section, they get to reflect on the assets, the payroll, and the My Edge. So you can automatically go to assets app and assign them an asset and say, I am giving so person a Toyota Corolla. I'm going to use myself as a case study very soon. Payroll as well, they get reflected in payroll. While onboarding them, you'll have indicated how much they get paid, or they will get paid. And at the end of the month, you can generate your payroll. The My Edge really is, so for every time an employee has to write a mail, I am sure that we can relate to that. It is a time wasting process in a sense. So imagine your employee being able to just go to their My Edge section. It's a mobile app. It's also available on web. They can easily request for their leave, indicate what the leave is for, whether it's a sick leave, annual leave, paternal leave, or any kind of leave you've set in your organization. And just at the click of the button, you get a notification on your end that you can approve or not approve the leave, right? The accounting process is another one that we've done. So if you generate a payroll, for example, remember I was talking about duplicating data. Your data has to be duplicated and sent to the accounting team. But automatically, what we've done with our app is payroll, the expense just gets added to accounting and you can see it reflect, right? Same thing with tax management, same thing with clocking, right? But I just want to throw it in here that I'll be dropping a link very soon. And this link really is for us. So as we're building, we're learning more. We're a company that is really open to learning more. And so we'll be looking for a group of testers, particularly companies that are fit for our app. And these slots, we just have about 10 slots open. I'll be dropping the link for that very soon, or Ebon will be dropping the link for that very soon. One of my members will be dropping the link for that very soon. So just bear in mind that these 10 people also qualify to possibly have access to BZ Premium as defined, right? So I'll just, let me see if I need to attend to a few more questions. Okay. Thank you, Babatunde. Babatunde, I will share you a link soon. I'll drop a link in the chat box very soon, and then you can fill that link and just indicate interest. Does that cater for lesson notes, teachers, curriculum, content, engagement for students or parents? Razak, yes, it does, but not for lesson notes. We don't cater for lesson notes. IQ app does not cater for lesson notes. I'll also drop the link for that as well for you to check out. But it does cater for curriculum up to a level. Yes, we have the parent section where you can share, log into the parents, answer, to check in their results, to chat with the school, and resolve any issues that you might have. Babatunde, yes, I would answer. I'll drop a link very soon that you can use. Okay, so Ebon has dropped a link for us here. There's a Linktree link here. Okay, Ebon, I think he wants you to drop the link again, so please drop it again. I think you probably missed it. Okay. So also that link also contains a form you can fill if you want to be part of our testers. There are a few free makes that we are willing to give out to some people. I really think I want to give so please let me go through there's someone I'm really interested in giving. Chinelo, I think. Yeah, Obiagili, if you can fill on that link, please. I would love to give you a match. I would love for my team to send a match to you. I really love your questions, but what's in there as well? Aside that, you can also fill the form any other person to get access to test this app, the other sections of the app that we're building, and to be part of our closed focus group. Right. Another thing is my team is open to helping you out with anything you need, but this is only open to about 15 businesses. So if you want to understand how to improve your business processes better, if you have any questions, because I believe that you might not be able to attend to everything in this presentation. So please feel free to click on the same link. That link leads you to a form where you can indicate if whatever questions you might have, or should we click on the page, get access to free consultation. Okay, yeah, you're welcome, Chinelo. Yeah, so this link also, gives you access to consultation if you want to speak with our team members, if you just want to understand what BZ is about, if you want to understand any other thing, not just BZ, what tools you can use to automate any other part of your business processes, feel free to fill that form. They are ready to speak with you. We find joy doing this. It also helps us understand, or what other problems people are facing out there, right? Right. I believe I've answered a few questions. If you have a few more questions, you can keep dropping them. I'm just going to go ahead now to show us what BZ looks like. Okay. So this is our website. You just need to click on sign in or start free trial. Currently, we have 14 days free trial running for businesses. So remember in my slide, I noted that you need to, sorry, can you confirm that you can see, you can just send a chat that you can actually see the website that I'm sharing currently. And I know just see my slide. I do not think you see my slide. So oh yeah, sure. Okay, you're seeing my slide. Yes. So remember, we thank you very much. We talked about the poll. I want us to, at the end of this meeting, I want us to have another poll for the people that voted initially. Do we still think that, based on this presentation, do we still think that Benny should hire an extra hand? And so it's going to be engaging now. I want to then get why we think so. I just want to get our comments on why we think so. And if we think she shouldn't, I also want to know why we think not. All right. So please, if the poll can come up again, let's vote again. So earlier we had 54% saying Benny shouldn't hire an extra hand. And we had 46% saying Benny should hire an extra hand. So you can go ahead and vote again. Okay, and you can drop your questions now. If you voted for yes, you can drop your reasons for why you voted for yes. If you voted for no, you can drop why you voted for no. So I want to stop sharing and then share a different link with you. Or actually, let me just do this. So please confirm that you can see the website now and not the slide. I'll get to your question, Ayokbeju and Michael. I believe if by the time I explain this to you. Okay, so it's getting, okay, you can see the website. So it's getting interactive in our chat section. Ayokbeju is dropping a few thoughts. Right, so while we're dropping our thoughts in there, I'll just run us through. So this is the website. It's bizedgeapp.com. That's the website. So once you go to www.bizedgeapp.com, you can easily find the website. So you can either sign in the relevant account or start free trial. We currently have 14 days free trial running for businesses. So earlier, if you remember, I was touching on pricing and I said that our goal really is to make it as affordable as possible. So you can either pay monthly or pay quarterly, right? If you're paying quarterly at the moment, we have as much as 50% discount for you. And this is really low for up to 10 businesses. If you're paying for just one person, you're paying as low as 750 naira per quarter per year for your employees, for the number of apps that you have. And if you have 5, you're paying this amount per year, not monthly. If you're paying monthly, you would have the same amount, right? So I'll just go to the app just to show us what it looks like, right? So this is a demo app and this is a demo account. Obviously, I can't use my company account, right? So just to run us through what it looks like I said, you would have access to 14 months free trial to test this app. I think I already mentioned that in my slide that it's really good for you to try an app to be sure that it works for you. Don't just straight into it, just using it, because you need to be sure that it really solves your problem. Right, so some of the things that we have currently in the app is the people management, is the HR, the payroll, the assets, the vehicle, the business directory. So I'm just going to go to the people side of things just to see how it looks like. Now, in the people app, you can actually see the dashboard, the people on your team. You can define who is working remotely. If you have remote work policy, you can onboard a new employee afresh, enter all the details that you need to enter. And that gets done in there. Once you onboard an employee, it gets added. You can basically see a breakdown and get insight into number of female, number of male. You can see your active employees. You can know who is having birthdays. You don't have to keep making people feel bad that you forget their birthdays. You can see who is having work anniversaries, and you can see upcoming anniversaries. You can see the people on leave. Currently, we are a team of close to 40. I won't always know who is on leave, but with this app, I can just easily come here and know, oh, okay, so person is on leave, so person is working remotely. Also, you can just see the list of the entire team members that you have in your team. You can see the time off, you can see the request for time off, you can see people that are out of work. You can also add benefits. You can add benefits. This is an example of a benefits, an HMO. You can create these benefits. You can add new benefits for your team members. It could be gym. It could be pension. Oh, okay. Someone has Andres. Please, I'll attend to you soon. You can add training for you that have training as benefits for your employees. Documents. You can get reports and insights into your team. So I was explaining earlier, right? This is assets, for example. With assets, you can track. We all have devices that our employees use. They use their systems, their laptop, their desktop, their monitor, keyboard at times, mouse, phones at times, or mobile devices, right? Here you can actually track the devices that you have in. So someone was asking me a question about stock taking. This is an app that you can use to know how many furnitures you have, generators if you have as many as, if you have more than one, if you have more than one rather, laptops if you have more than one. You can basically see if they are being repaired currently. You can see their assets. If they are assigned, you can know how many have been assigned. You can know how many have been unassigned. You can actually get an insight to how many have been repaired, condemned. This is a list of all the assets. Also, an insight into the asset type as well. Sorry, my internet is a bit funny, so you might not be getting right. So, other part of the app really is the business directory, which is coming soon as well. The payroll process. I explained that as well to you briefly. With the payroll, you can easily generate payroll for your businesses, right? One other part that I mentioned, if you recall earlier, was I mentioned the My Edge side of things. So I'm just going to show you the My Edge. My Edge is the employee self-service tool. This is my own account, so I'm not going to show you too many things, right? Just showing you briefly what it looks like and what it can do. But before I show you this, I'm just going to go into the chat to see if there are any other things. Yes, we have offers for affiliate program Dan H. Dan H, please can you drop a link for Dan? We'll be very, very glad to actually have you on our affiliates. Definitely we do. We do enjoy people that actually share same. So let me see, please, can I have software I can send? Okay, sure. I hope I've been able to answer your question, Michael. So with the BizEdge app, you can actually also generate receipts. You can generate invoices. You can track your bills. You can do anything you need to do in your accounting basically, and also get reports. What tools would you recommend to help improve productivity of team members? BizEdge, 100%. Right, so we need a group of testers. Earlier, I told you, we fill the form, good one. These questions really, we've started seeing that beyond what we've built, as people have continued to use our app, so we've had people from, enterprise level to little startups use our app. What we've seen is really people requesting for more. But like I said as well, we also need to be careful now we launch more solutions. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to validate that these problems are actually there and how best to actually, attend to this problem. So please feel free to join our test club and fill the form. I will reach out to you. How can production companies use BizEdge to track stocks? Fairly, you can. So depending on what kind of stocks you're talking about, I would believe the asset app should work for you to a level. But again, it would depend on the kind of stock you're talking about now. But with the asset app, you can create an asset type. So let's say an example of a stock would be bags or plastics or machineries or lighting. You can create that. You can indicate how many that you have in your company currently, right? But I believe you would also need other features. So just follow the link now. So if you click on that link, you can be part of our test club and I'll see if I can attend to you better. What tools do you recommend for productivity? I've answered that. I've answered so to 11. Right, so while more links are dropping, I'll just show us the employee side of BZ. Like I said, this is my own account, so I can't show you too much. But on the employee side of BZ, I told you that you can actually request for a leave. You can, so this is an asset that was assigned to me, right? So I can easily make a report of what is going on. These are upcoming anniversaries. So luckily for me, my anniversary is coming soon. You can see birthdays. Someone is currently on leave in my team, so I'm aware of that. I can also get to see my people. So this exists as a mobile app as well, but I wanted to reduce the complexity of having to have a switch between my mobile and the web. So I felt like it's just best to. So, but the best use case for this really is mobile, because what we've seen is not every employee will probably have access to a system, but with the mobile app, employees can easily go there to request for leave. So we build this to be mobile first, right? So it should be mobile first, and your teammates or your employees can easily go there to do whatever it is they need to do. Let me see if there are other sections I can show you. Yeah, so I'll just stop there. I don't want to go too deep into some things, but yeah, I did touch on assets, I remember, and I can report assets. I can basically note that, oh, something is wrong with the car or the car needs servicing, and that gets done, right? So I'll just come back to this place. Oh, so this is a payroll. This is an example of a payroll process that is currently being run by the system, right? You can see the breakdown of the payroll process, their payee, their total deductions and whatnot. So I'll just go back to the other screen while I'm answering questions. Okay, so the yeses have then reduced. So that's a good one for me. Our yes is now 19% and our no is 81%. So what this suggests to me is that we now understand presentation better, right? And I'm going to explain to you, this is an opinion, it's dynamic with different people. I'm going to explain to you why I think is a no for now, right? But thank you very much. What you've basically done for me is you've made me happy to let me know that this presentation was impactful. Okay, so I've answered these questions. Okay, so let me see. So I'll just go back to okay, so confirm. If many hires extra and the problem will still reoccur as business grows, automation is a long-term. Beautiful. Thank you very much, Ayokweju. Ayokweju, if you would, I don't know, Evan, can you please drop an email, our LO@BZ email for Ayokweju to actually send our details? I owe Ayokweju a much, right? So thank you very much, Ayokweju. Beautiful. So Ayokweju has actually answered the questions. So if Benny hires an extra employee, this process has not been eliminated, right? It's still there. Let's not forget, right? So automating the process is really what solves the problem. Yes, she can hire an extra employee, but has that process been solved? Has that problem been solved fully? Okay, so let me see other. So someone voted no as well. Considering the repetitive task involved, Benny should deploy or apply automating system or app to document or engage our customers. Yes, for efficiency. Yes, considering the increasing engagement of the customers. Beautiful. Thank you very much, Razak. Ebon Razak is another person we should reach out to. Razak, we're going to drop a mail. You can reach out. Tokwe, to get the slides, you can fill the same link. Follow the same link. You would see an option where you can fill information for you to get the slides. If you use the same link. I think I've answered Dan. Dan, yes, we have an affiliate program. Dan is asking if this will work for churches. It depends on your use case. I believe some churches have employees and some churches pay salaries. Some churches not some now. Churches definitely have assets that they want to track. They have vehicles that they also want to track and maintain. So yes, Dan, definitely nothing stops this from working. I want to assume churches also grant leaves. So definitely works for you, Dan. You can reach out to our team. Ebon is dropping an email. She has dropped an email below. you can ask more questions, or if you just need insight on how this can work better for you. Okay, yes, please close the poll. Hello, busy. Okay, let me see. Okay, people are catching up here. Okay. Okay. Yes, Jamil, 100%. We've created BZH app to actually work for okay. Thank you, LSTF, for connecting two people. I think you've been able to connect people or two businesses in the chat section here. Right. So Jamil, definitely, yes, this can work for enterprise businesses. We've created it to work across from small to medium to enterprise level. But we do have a different pricing for enterprise. You can reach out through the same email there. And definitely we'll be happy to talk to you or to understand how we can give you offer you better service. Okay, so I believe I've answered most of the questions, and I believe I've been able to run us through. So on the poll, if Benny uses a tool like BZH to take stock, or uses any other tool to track, she can basically pass the need or I'm looking for a way. Those steps, those actions can be moved to the customers to take, right? So Benny can just easily send a link to the customers and say, can you fill in your details for your order? How many clothes would you like to wear? Just a simple form in this case. Let's even assume that Benny cannot afford. So we talked about budget fee. Let's assume that Benny cannot afford. Benny can send something as simple as a form that says, what order are you making? What total number of clothes that you have? How many are you washing? Indicates them. Any other comments? Excuse me. And Benny can send invoice using that same process. And so basically, if Benny is hiring anybody, the only thing the person has to do is collect this form, generate invoice, send it to the customer. And if Benny is using an app like BZH, once the invoice is sent, once the customer gets to pay, Benny can automatically generate the receipt of payment, send it to the customers as well. So really, if we said no, we're sort of right. If we said no, rather, we're very correct. But we said yes, we're sort of right. If Benny is hiring someone else, Benny should hire someone else only if Benny is able to automate that process, because hiring someone else might actually just, further complicate that problem. So Benny can hire someone else, but not forgetting that Benny needs to automate that process and ensure that that process is eliminated or reduced, sorry. That, you don't have to keep repeating it manually. So the no's have it actually. Benny doesn't necessarily have to hire someone else. So remember that business is about how to, maximize your investment. And so before you make a spend, you want to make an informed decision. You don't want to hire and fire, right? You don't want to hire someone today and fire them the next day because you think that the problem has not been solved. That might be bad for your culture, or that would be bad for your culture. What you want to do is validate whether or not you need this person. So once you've been able to introduce a solution in the system, you can confirm whether or not the solution works for you. And once it does, you can then, maybe as you scale, hire an extra person that just mans that solution for you, right? So I hope that's giving us better clarity, especially for people that chose yes. Okay, cool. Let me see. I think we have more questions. How can production companies use BZH to track stocks? I think I answered that already. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so we're also on social media. You can drop our social media handles in case you don't want to, or you do not have the time to reach out to us via email. You can reach out to us on Twitter, on Instagram, and on LinkedIn. We're available on all these platforms. LSTF, I need their email. I'm not sure if Jamie is asking for our email here. Yes, so that's it. That's it from my end. Thank you very much. And you can connect with me on LinkedIn, Oluwaseun Samson Farinre, and on Twitter, Seun Farinre as well. So I'll just leave it to next person to take over. from here. I hope it was an insightful session. Thank you for staying.
Thank you very much. It sure was an insightful session, and I'm very, very certain that all those that stayed from the beginning, like you said, until the end, must have really found it informative. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, your versatile knowledge with us. And we appreciate you for the gifts and giveaway. I believe she has been given the email to follow up with. I would advise that you do that and grab Sheol to get your gift. Thank you very much, Sheol. Yeah, and the networking, I see that Babatunde had quickly networked with his mentor here. That was a good one, sharp guy. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm sure we all would agree with me to say that this really has been an insightful, it has been an informative and an educative session so far. Thank you very much once again to our facilitator. Can we please put in the chat box a big thank you to Sheol for sharing his knowledge with us on how best to use automation to better our businesses. Thank you very much, Mr. Sheol. I can see thank you from Tosi. There's a thank you, a whole lot. I just lost track of it. So that's to say that we all appreciate you, Sheol. Thank you very much. We hope to do this with you again some other time. And like I would always say, LSCTF remains your partner in the progress of your business. We take it to heart, and we mean to work with you. The business ecosystem in Lagos means a lot to us, and we'll keep bringing you sessions such as this in order to keep informing you, educating you in driving your business to the greater heights. Thank you very much. My name is still Fumi, and I would at this moment draw the curtain and say thank you all. Do have a wonderful day. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.